The University Racing Club podcast, proudly sponsored by EventSec Limited, your best solution for event security and stewarding. Welcome to the second episode of the University Racing Club podcast. Now this one's slightly different. We've got a special guest, Arthur Cornell, who's a current University Racing Club member. We break down the last couple of weeks racing and also look ahead to the weekend at Sandown, with the Tingle Creek being the highlight. Before then though, let's get a quick update from Josh as to how Beau Gosse is doing. It's great to be joined by Josh this morning. Josh, how are you doing, mate?
All good, thank you. Yeah, very well.
Ideal. So how's Beau Gosse? How's he come out of his second run, and what's the plan for the next couple of weeks?
He seems fine. He's actually come out of it pretty fresh. I think he was slightly... It was fitness probably as much as anything. It sounds like Craig said he had a good blow, sort of 3 out. Probably just wasn't quite as fit as we thought he was. I thought maybe after Bangor he was a bit fitter than he was. So I'm sure we're going to see a big improvement in fitness from him. He's come back really fresh and he seems well. The only thing I'm thinking is maybe just going back over hurdles for a couple of runs. The idea of getting the extra allowance over fences probably just didn't quite work, as he just jumped a bit too deliberate. He jumped well, but just a bit slow and just took his time. So I'm wondering whether we just go back over hurdles for a couple of runs, just get his confidence, get him jumping quickly and fluently again before we go back over fences. He didn't jump badly at all, but I just think he was just wasting a bit of time, jumping them a bit too well, just sort of being a bit green and young and inexperienced, really. So I'm going to look at Uttoxeter on the 19th of December.
Yeah.
There's two races there. There's a 0 to 100, 0 to 105, 2 mile 6 and 2.5. So it's probably going to cut up because very similar horses are going to be on both. So I think it could make them both a little bit weaker being on the same day. So he might just enter in one of those two and hopefully run in one. He's also been dropped a few pounds, which is going to help. I'm sure he will have improved a bit from Southwell, as I say, and hopefully we can go well there.
Ideal. Well, that's brilliant. Well, look, 19th at Uttoxeter, obviously, we'll keep that in the diary. And thanks very much for jumping on today.
No worries.
All right, cheers, Josh. Well, great to hear from Josh there as to how Beau Gosse is doing. As he says, come out of his run and he's pretty fresh still, which is great signs. Interesting that he's going to look into going back over hurdles. As Josh mentioned, he jumped very well at Southwell, just a bit novice. He spent a bit too much time in the air, so it will still bring him along. He's still a young horse, only a 4-year-old, so over hurdles will give him that experience he needs. And now that the handicap has dropped him £5, it looks like he'll be well weighted to go again. And the 19th at Uttoxeter, as Josh mentioned, that should be a nice spot for him, and the picture will become a lot more clearer over the next couple of weeks as we get close then. But yeah, looking forward to his third run. So as I mentioned, it's a slightly different episode to the first one today. And I'm really happy to say I'm joined by Arthur Cornell, member of the University Racing Club. Arthur, how are you doing, mate?
Very well, thanks, Max. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, thanks. Not bad. How have you found being with the racing club so far?
Oh, mate, it's been great. I've actually loved it. Bought my stakes in the summer, and I've really enjoyed the sort of constant updates and getting kind of voice notes and videos from the trainers. You know, probably weekly at least. It's been really good value for money. Like, we went up to Bangor in October for his debut, and it was a brilliant day. Yeah,
looking forward to the next. So back for his third run. Are you going to try and make it there? I don't know. Obviously, I don't know where we're going, but
yeah, absolutely. I'd be there in a short. I think like one of the best things about Bangor was having the owners pass and stuff. Like, that's kind of stuff we've always wanted to do since we sort of got into racing, and like be able to do it for 20 quid. And be in the owner's enclosure and chatting to trainers and in the parade ring and stuff. Like, it was pretty awesome stuff.
That's it, mate. Well, looking forward to the third run, and hopefully you can make it there. That's going to be really exciting. Moving on then to the racing we've seen recently. Newcastle on Saturday, an interesting day. As a Constitution Hill fan myself, and I know you are also like the horse, obviously. The Fighting Fifth. Now, that was just a horror watch from start to finish. Actually, no, they jumped the first, and then it was a horror watch from then to the finish. I don't know what it is with him. He fell at Cheltenham, fell at Aintree, did not go a yard at Punchestown. That was just obvious. And now he's fallen here. Is the game finally up? is that it for him?
I mean, like, what can you say? Who knows? I really hope, I think racing needs him. Like,
Yeah.
we all love him. He's become a bit of a household name now. But I just feel so bad for Nico and for Nicky and for the whole team at Seven Barrows, because, like, he's such a great horse that Supreme, I don't think anyone will ever forget. And no, it was such a shame. But I'm sure, who knows, maybe he'll be back at Christmas hurdle at Kenton, maybe.
I mean, it'll be interesting, and Nicky was talking about the padded hurdles, but I read a report that it's only reduces falling by 11%. Do you reckon that's just not an excuse? I don't want to say Nicky's using excuses because he loves his horses, etc. But do you reckon it's not a viable argument, say?
I don't know about the padded hurdles, to be honest. I mean, what can you say? Like, I think it's probably something that people are using as a reason, because no one really knows what the real reason is.
Yeah.
And so the padded hurdles kind of comes up as a nice excuse. Not from Nicky, just from the sort of racing media in general. I don't think it is the padded hurdles. Like, just before he jumps, you can see he's kind of hesitating. He's not sure, and that's not the hurdles' fault, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know what it is. He just sort of, I was listening, I can't remember who was doing it. I think Ruby Walsh was doing a really good piece on it. He lifts his front shoulders and then just dives them back down again. He just doesn't really know where to go. And you'd hope that. I mean, it's pretty sad viewing, isn't it, for a horse? It's just lost it really.
I saw someone use the analogy that it was like a footballer who kind of doesn't commit to a 50-50.
Yeah.
It's kind of half in, half out, and that's kind of what it feels like.
100%. Well, look, we'll get on the Anspo slips for the Ascot Gold Cup at Royal Ascot. Come on, Nicky, run him on the flat. And then, so obviously you had him, and then the New Lion fell. It fell at the same hurdle. So it's just like, I'm not. I think there's bags of talent in the New Lion, but I'm personally not convinced that he's a 2-miler. Obviously, Dan thinks he is, and Dan Skelton that is, and he obviously that's the main man, I guess. But he took a while to get past the Yellow Clay and was it Final Demand in the Turners up the hill. It took a bit of time to get past them. He looked, maybe he didn't want to be leading. And, I think Harry wasn't anticipating Connie Hill falling. I mean, you probably should. But, he didn't want to be leading. He tried to run out at one down the back. And then he just stepped at one, took a chance. Was he going to win?
He kind of jinked the hurdle.
Yeah, it was strange.
2 out as well. Sorry, on the third hurdle, I think. And then he does it again 2 out where he eventually falls. But he kind of, a bit like Constitution Hill, he kind of hesitates and sort of jinks left, jinks right, and then just dives into it, really.
It's sort of like they're looking at something, something catches their eye. I mean, obviously, well, I don't know, but it's interesting for sure. But I think, I can't remember what he was for the champion hurdle, but I think too short for me. I can't really get behind that, to be honest.
No, you wouldn't want to go near him for the champion hurdle, not yet anyway. I think you want to see him, jump four round hurdles before.
Exactly.
2 miles before you want to start backing into that.
Yeah, and well, obviously the Skeltons know best, and they are a serial operation, so we'll see where it goes. But it was brilliant for Golden Ace. I mean, someone rightly put it the other day: the champion hurdle winner winning the fighting fifth. Is that just normal service resumed?
Yeah, I mean, we all should have been on it really at 25-1, but
yeah.
No, you've got to give full credit to Jeremy Scott and all the team up down there, because you've got to be in the game to win it. And Golden Ace was full value. Saw off Amsterdam like it was nothing. Who fine may come on for it, but at the end of the day, now she's the one who's got a fighting fifth and a champion hurdle, and fair play, really. Oh,
exactly. I think it's great as well, as you say, for Jeremy and Lorcan. I think they run a very good operation. She obviously scoped dirty on her reappearance, and I think he actually said that he was gutted by that. He thought he had a cherry ripe. And that, as you say, you got to be there to win it, and she was. So full credit to them. And
maybe that's the angle. I think she's 12-1 now for the champion hurdle. So
is she?
I mean, maybe that's the way to go for an each way little tip.
Does lightning strike 3 times? I mean, can you imagine? God, I don't even know what I'd do. I think that's the love of the game would just about. Well, no, that's harsh to say, because I'd love it for them. But yeah, actually talking about Amsterdam, there was a lot of whispers coming out of Close Sutton that he wasn't working as well as everyone would like him to be. Mullins has held him in the highest regard, for a while now. Said that he's more than capable to come on for his run. He's now 20-1 for the champion hurdle. I think that's pretty good value, to be honest.
Yeah, 20 to 1. That's a big drift because he was as short as kind of 8 to 1, I think, at
Yeah,
one point a
yeah.
couple of weeks ago. So, and he'll definitely come on for that run. Was that his first Grade One? I think.
I think it was. Yeah, it would have been. Yeah,
Um, and that's a big layoff as well for Amsterdam. And if anyone's going to have him right for March, it will be Mullins.
that's it. And now the Donnellys have, obviously, sadly, State Man's out for the season, which is a big loss because I know you were very sweet for him for the champion hurdle.
Yeah, I was sweet on State Man.
I think a lot of people were, but the rerouting of Sergino. Is he going to go to the Christmas hurdle? He's 4-1 for the champion hurdle, 5-1 for the champion chase, but he got given the best ever. I think I'm right in saying this. The best ever rating following his novice chase win, where he just stuck Ballyburn, just didn't even. It was unbelievable, really. And now they think of going hurdling with him. I personally think it's crazy. I think you go champion chase route, especially in a division like that where you've got not as much. Ilete Tom's great horse. Is he effective at Cheltenham? I don't think so. Same with John Bon. Great horse. Is he effective at Cheltenham? Don't think so. I think you just go down that route.
I mean, I think you can make the same argument for the hurdling route, really. Constitution Hill's out of the picture. We don't know about Amsterdam.
Yeah.
Like, Lofty Mouth, who knows? Is she two and a half or two? So you could almost say the 2 mile hurdling is as open, if not more open,
Yeah.
than the 2 mile chase. So, and obviously the Donnellys want to replace State Man, then maybe that's the logical way to do it.
Yeah, it's crazy how much ammo they have, to be fair, the Donnellys. I mean, they have some serious... Because Lulamba's running, I believe, in the Henry on Saturday. Yeah, that would be a good race. Against Be Aware for the Skeletons, who will be a good yardstick, actually, having only just lost out to July Flower, I think it was, at Cheltenham. I can't...
Yeah, July Flower's a lovely horse.
Yes.
I mean, I'm not sure where she'll go at Cheltenham, but I had her back to the mares last year.
Yeah.
And definitely be looking to maybe go an anti-post selection on that.
Yeah, and I think she, as proven, she's a better over a fence than she is over a hurdle, and you could tell that actually because last year in the mares she sort of hurdled like a chaser. She spent a bit of time in the air. She wasn't slick. Obviously, she wasn't going to get to Lossiemouth that day. No one was. But moving on actually to Saturday and the Tingle Creek. I know we touched on Alette Toms. Short as 4-6. I mean, that's pretty short to be, for a race which has a pretty good lineup.
Yeah, I mean, it's too short, I think. But I mean, 5.5 lengths in front of John Bon. Was it in the celebration last time at Sandown? I mean, who knows? That John Bon form now. I mean, post his run at Cheltenham is it the Schlur? I never really.
Yeah, in the Schlur, yeah.
It was just miles off it, 15 lengths behind Lotus. So it would certainly be an interesting race, but yeah, 4-6, you wouldn't want to be going near that, I don't think.
No, and I think Lotus is a good horse. I'm not sure what he is, but I think he was trained for the Schlur, and I think John Bond just didn't show up, obviously. And he was gonna actually. There was thoughts of him going to the Peterborough hunting on Sunday, but I just read earlier today that he is actually going to the Tingle Creek. He's definitely going to go there. So that would be interesting to see how he bounces back from Cheltenham. And then you've obviously got Boot Hill and Edwardstone, who are, the most consistent 2-miler Grade 1 horses ever. Just like prize money merchants. They just love getting in and just taking third, fourth, sometimes second.
I feel really sorry for Edwardstone in that, I can't remember who the name of that Australian spinner was who was basically around the same time as Shane Moore, but basically never got a look in. And
yeah.
Same sort of thing with Edwardstone behind John Bon. I mean, he's literally finished behind him 10 or 12 times.
Oh, it's who was the other one? It was Frankel and there was, I can't remember the O'Brien horse, but you just get really unlucky. But I actually, funnily enough, I was looking at it and Liberty Hunter, who I'm saying fell in the Schlur.
Yeah, that's the skeleton horse, isn't it?
No, the Evan Williams horse, Liberty Hunter.
Fine, okay.
And I think 25-1. We don't actually know whether this horse is going to be another Boot Hill / Edwardstone and just there for the prize money because he's fell in the Schlur. He's ran some pretty solid races before, and I think 12-1 is probably a bit big. And you'd look at that and you go, maybe he does end up being just that prize money. But I think you're going to find out at some point, and I think Saturday will be the point you find out. And at 25-1, if Alette Toms doesn't run a good race, we know John Bon is pretty bomb-proof around Sandown when it comes to jumping. But if he's maybe not the same horse now a year older, I don't know. 12-1 seems a bit big for me for a horse that could improve.
I think that Schlur form flatters Lotus massively because it's 15 lengths ahead of John Bon, fine, but was it Matata that cocked up the last jump there?
Yeah.
And like, noticed it's a good horse, but he's not a great horse.
Yeah.
And Liberty Hunter, we're not. There's a bit of an unknown quantity, so definitely worth a go at 12-1. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's something there for sure. Actually moving on now to over the Irish Sea, we saw a pretty good race in the Hatton's Grace part. Pardon the rhyming there. Ballyburn and Tiapu. Now, it's tough to say. It's tough to say. Ballyburn's head carriage, he pulls. He literally pulls arms out for half that race, and he was having a pick of grass after it. It was mad. But would you back him in the big one? He's currently 9-4 anti-post favourite, which I think is way too short.
Yeah, I agree. I think Ballyburn is such an unknown quantity. Like, we saw him over fences last year, and he just never quite got to grips with them. He's very hot and cold. He ran Tiapu very close, who, as we said, about half an hour ago off air, like, he's not a great horse, Tiapu.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's an open division. It's one that could do with a sort of rivalry, I think. And yeah, it was a brilliant race, first and foremost.
Yeah.
It's great.
And sort of you get the impression Tiapu needs that soft ground, and it can get soft, but would you take 3-1 banking on it raining? I don't think so.
No, thank you, no way.
Yeah, and then Imposed Trois won the long distance hurdle, and a few. There are a few people going like, I think he's a bit of value. I personally don't see it at all.
Nor me. I think he won that long distance hurdle by literally a neck or a head or something.
Yeah.
Similar to Tiapu and Ballyburn, it was a great race, but it wasn't a kind of a putting down the marker, sort of, staking a claim for the status race.
Totally
really,
agree.
I don't think.
Yeah, and
it wasn't a performance that will have you quaking.
No, exactly. And I was at Aintree when he won on reappearance, and he got backed in like when he won as he was entitled to. But as you say, it's not something you sort of go, wow. As Newbury, he only beat Strong Leader, but as you say, by a neck or whatever. And I think Ballyburn would absolutely wipe the floor with those two. Same with Tiapu. And at 12-1, which I think is crazy value, is the reigning champ Bob Ollinger. Why is he that big?
Yeah, I mean, we've both been big fans of Bob Ollinger for quite a long time, and even last year going off 8-1 for the stairs hurdle that he won was insane value, and one of the most underrated horses in training, really. I think. So yeah, definitely presents a value at 12-1.
Yeah, and he's 4 from 4 at Cheltenham. Granted, one of them was when Galopin de Champs slipped up at the last, which we're not going to talk about because that was just a horror watch. But then he came in and Henry de Bromhead was like, that horse. Obviously GDC is a joke. No one can do that to Bob like he did. But 12-1, he's bomb-proof at Cheltenham. He'll be out in the Rail Kill or the Christmas Hurdle at Punchestown. He won the Rail Kill at Cheltenham last year. And then Henry will do what he does best with his horses, freshen them up for March. He'll get them primed, and then he'll go down the stairs route. I think it's 12-1 seems massive, and it's a risk taking a horse which hasn't reappeared yet. Whereas you see Tiapu and Ballyburn, but I think that's why he's 12-1, and I think that will cut up quite quickly.
Yeah, the only thing I'd say on Bob Ollinger is that he is getting on a bit now. I think he's 10, and that's asking quite a lot on 3 miles, I think. With some younger, fresher legs like Ballyburn, and Tiapu, not to mention Imposed Trois as well. And, who knows, there could be, like, the Yellow Clay, maybe. I know he was poor last time, but there's still quite a lot of unknown quantity, and maybe the younger, fresher legs might get the better of Bob Ollinger come on. Yeah,
and then you've obviously got, for the same ownership, Irish Point, who we haven't seen for a while, who was second to State Man when in the Champion Hurdle, not last year, year before last, or whenever it was. I think that's a horse you can't forget because stays really well, got that turn of foot. He's won at 2 miles, he's won at 3 miles. I think that's quite an interesting horse.
He was only, just reading here, he was only 2 lengths behind State Man. Punched out for the Champion Hurdle there in May. That was May 2024, so we haven't seen Irish Point for a while.
No.
But yeah, I mean, who knows, potentially.
Could be an interesting candidate. Okay, so we'll move on to one horse you think will win this weekend, and then if you can, give us one horse you think will win at the Cheltenham Festival.
Yeah, I'm going to give you a horse for Friday, if that's all right, which is
Friday. Yeah.
Dorian Quest for Skeltons in
Yeah.
the Exeter Novices Chase. I watched it run really well, win really nicely at Exeter last time out, and it beat second favourite in the market, who's got a funny name, by 10 lengths.
Yeah.
I think Harry Skelton put out a video this week on Twitter, showing some of the jumping, and it really was phenomenal, just giving the fences so much airtime, getting over them, like, it was lovely.
Yeah.
And so I think it's about 13 to 8 looks a nice bet for the weekend.
Yeah, nice. I was just going through the form actually. Yeah, Quebecois in second.
That's the one.
Tiny Tetley in third actually, and then Western Knight in fourth, who came out and won today at Haydock.
Really?
It's quite a nice little form boost. The third actually was pulled up, but I watched the race actually. It was in second and then just sprawled on landing 2 out, I think. But I like that Dorian Quest. That's not bad. Yeah, I was actually at Chepstow when it was rattlingly quick round, and he came second to Specular Tricks, the Gordon Elliott Raider, and thought he jumped well on the whole, and just Sean did what Sean Bowen does, just stalked him the whole way round, jumped the last, and then your bet slips in the bin before they even hit the furlong pole. It's just not much fun, but that's Sean Bowen for you. So Dorian Quest on Friday, and then your Cheltenham Festival one. I know we're sort of quite far away, obviously, but
Yeah, I mean, you could easily, you could put up Final Demand for the Brown Advisory or Coatback for the Arkle, but I'm going to take slightly left field and go Grey Dawning for the Gold Cup.
oh, here we go.
being in Dublin the last couple of years, as I said to you just before we started this, always like backing the British horses when we get round to March. And
Yeah.
I thought he gave a really good account of himself, reversing the form in the Betfair with Royal Pagaille at Haydock a couple of weeks ago. And again, winning the chase at Kelso start of March, 2.5 lengths in front of Iroko.
Yeah.
I think we just got round really nicely, jumped really well. I think the Skeletons have needed a Gold Cup horse, and when they target one, they're very rarely get it wrong.
It's very true. And he's obviously what did he win at the festival? He won the Turners, didn't he? Am I right in saying that?
He won. Yeah, exactly. He won the Turners 2024. Beat Ginny's Destiny.
Yeah, that's form around Cheltenham. I think I quite like that, but look, I mean, I Galopin de Chance, I think, is just bomb-proof. I love this horse. I know he's had a little setback, but I think he's just mustard. And he shows up. And Cheltenham last year was one of those races where Paul got off him. He never looked to be travelling. He wasn't jumping fluently. The ground was a bit quick, and he just got beaten by the better horse on the day. But I think on his day, there is no horse in training better than him. And he's just proven it. He's coming back for that third Gold Cup. He is coming back, and I know he's going to win it.
Well, I mean, rather you than me. I mean, how many horses have retained it, gone and lost it and then won it back? It's a pretty short list.
Yeah.
And is Galopin shown that calibre at 10? It takes a bit of convincing. And at 14's Grey Dawning, this far out, I mean, he'll be there lining up on the day.
Yeah.
I think I'd rather have that personally.
14s is actually really good value. I didn't realise he was 14s. And as you say, he won really well at Haydock. It was a very, very good ride from Harry, obviously, but it wasn't a hard race. Like last year, it turned into a bit of a slog, didn't it? I don't think he had a hard race. It was hands and heels and just galloped around and sort of galloped them into submission.
Yeah, exactly. He had Royal Pagaille at the last, and then he said goodbye, and off he went up to the line.
Yeah.
And I don't think beating Royal Pagaille at Haydock is no mean feat, really.
Oh God, yeah, exactly.
So I mean, yeah, it's a bit of an alternative left field suggestion, but hopefully it comes in.
Yeah, well, brilliant. Well, look, Arthur, thanks so much for jumping on today. Great to speak.
Absolutely, nice. Really enjoyed that. Great to chat to you as always.
Great to break it down, and hopefully, looking forward to seeing you for Le Beau Gosse's third run for the club.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait.
Ideal. Thanks, Arthur. Cheers.
Cheers, mate.
Bye now. Well, many thanks to Arthur for jumping on there. Great to chat to him about the University Racing Club, how he's found it so far, and also just to break down the last couple of weeks racing and looking ahead to this weekend. Dorian Quest, he's tipped up on Friday, which is one I think is definitely a horse that's improved with the friends in front of them. I think should have a really good chance. Obviously, the Tingle Creek on Saturday, John Bon is going, so Elete Tomps, John Bon, Loda Sud. And as I say, don't rule out Liberty Hunter at 25-1. Harry Cobden's been in absolutely flying form. Takes the ride again after a couple of spill-ups at Cheltenham the last twice. But yeah, a really exciting weekend, and also really exciting for Beau Gosse. His third run for the club coming in a few weeks' time. So obviously the picture will become a lot more clear in about a week or so, and Uttoxeter on the 19th, as Josh said, is going to be his target for now. But we'll see what happens, and I'll make sure to keep everyone updated. Thanks again for listening, everyone, and I'll see you for the next one.